Let's go. Everybody said I'll never be what I wanna be. Looking at it now, I know that they were faking me. Tunnel vision on my goals, I only had the mic and Mac. Making music that don't mumble, none of you are loving that. Not even.
Hey guys, so we're here in the studio with SonTran, an inspiring artist from Alberta, Canada. His music reaches people of all ages, dialing in on topics such as mental health, self-harm, and suicide. Through the power of music, he uses it to capture the thoughts that goes through his mind and things that he has experienced. So with that, well, SonTran, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So over the course of the past year or so, you've been putting out songs that I would assume are very personal to you. You've been making merch and playing shows in the area. You shot a music video and you released an EP in October. People have been asking you questions on social media, so if you're okay with that, I'd like to share some of those with you.
For sure.
Perfect. So take us to the beginning. What inspires you to make music?
What inspired me was just the feeling of music when you personally connect to a song, and what inspired me the most was what can I do with my story and how I can use that to help others and share some of my thoughts. Maybe if someone feels the same or is going through a similar situation.
On your latest EP, which song was the most personal for you to write?
The most personal one, I would say either Problems or Losing Hope. Through all of my songs, they are very personal, so it is different stages of that, but the most personal ones on that EP were Problems and Losing Hope.
And which song would you say was the hardest for you to write?
The hardest ones for me to write were either, well, they were both of them. It was Working and Not Just Music. They were more so upbeat, and I write from a very dark and personal mindset and thought process of that. So for Working and Not Just Music were my hardest ones to write.
I know it would be hard to choose, but if you had to, which would be your favorite song off your EP?
My favorite one, it all really depends on my mood, how the day's going or how the week's going, and it's different just emotions.
You shot a music video for your song Losing Hope.
Yeah.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to come back and discuss that. But first, if we could share a clip of it with the viewers.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. So here it is, Losing Hope by SonTran.
Drowning in my tears, it's been over a year. I remember the day I inflicted some harm. Took the blade and put it straight to my arm. June 17, I just wanted to die. Tried so hard to numb all the pain bottled up inside. One minute you say you love me, but the next you resent me. I feel so lost, maybe I am lost. Knowing I can't buy happiness, but if I could, I don't care how much it costs. I do everything you ask me to do. Somehow I'm still not good enough for you. I try to put this mask over my face. Covered up all my problems, now they're pouring out today. What did I do wrong? Always something new to yell at me about. Been a while since I've contemplated taking my own life now. Everything has spiraled down, I have something to say, but I can't even make a sound without you kicking me out of this house. And I'm losing hope, losing so much hope. And I'm losing hope, losing so much hope. I'm not perfect, I'm just worthless, that's what you told me. And I'm losing hope, losing so much hope. What did I do wrong? Always something new to yell at me about. Been a while since I've contemplated taking my own life now. Everything has spiraled down, I have something to say, but I can't even make a sound without you kicking me out of this house. And I'm losing hope, losing so much hope. And I'm losing hope, losing so much hope. I'm not perfect, I'm just worthless, that's what you told me. And I'm losing hope, losing so much hope.
You talk about June 17th. Can you take us back to that day, and what does it mean to you?
I talk a lot about that during Losing Hope and a few other songs, I believe. And for June 17, it just personally connects me with that day is that was the last time where I attempted to take my life, and that was the last time I self-harmed. And there was a lot of emotion throughout that day and that week, or even the weeks after that. So that's what June 17 means in a lot of my songs.
In the music video, what was your hope and what did you capture?
My hope was to capture what really was going on in my mind during that day. There was a lot of thinking, a lot of voices in my head, a lot of words, a lot of just not very good thoughts to have. And with the video, it was the outside scene and then the inside of the room scene, where it's very different from each other but very similar. And what I think that we captured was just all the thoughts of the inside room, where what's going on in my mind and everything, and looking from the outside where it's so bright, on the inside was really dark.
So if you had to give some advice to somebody who is going through what you went through or went through what you went through, what advice would you give them?
If there were the right words, I would definitely tell you, but there's not really the right words to help someone just get out of that darkness. It's not like within 24 hours they'll be perfectly fine, they'll have $1 million. If there were words, I'd pay whatever to have those. But what I can say is that to whoever having those thoughts or having suicide thoughts, self-harming, feeling like you're worthless, it's not like, what I would say is they're not alone. And I was there too. I've been at my lowest multiple times. It's that vulnerability and openness that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to reach out for help. It doesn't make you weak, and you're not alone. That's all I would say.
So how do you stay positive then?
How I stay positive is more so putting my mind towards the right things, and some days are harder than most, but I found things that are worthwhile for me, and even with this music, I put almost all my focus into that, and yeah, it's just staying positive for me is hard, but if I can use my music to help somebody else get through their darkness, that's what keeps me positive.
So where would you say your state of mind is right now?
My state of mind currently, it's kind of in the middle, actually. It's just, there's certain things I don't know how to feel about currently, and there's a lot of things I'm thinking about. But yeah, my state of mind currently is just medium.
That's fair. What's the biggest, most important message you want everyone to know when they listen to your music?
The most important message for people listening to my music, it's very diverse, and if it's not like what you want to hear, I respect that. If you're first listening to my music, then it's very personal. The most important message is I'm trying to say, like in most of my hoodies that I have, it says "up from here," and that's one of the most important messages I want. It's either when you feel at like such a certain low point, like you can't go any further, it's only up from here, and you're not alone. That's what I want to say.
Up from here. If you could tell your past and future self one thing, just one thing, what would it be?
Just one thing of telling my past self. If I were to tell my past self one thing, it was just live in the moment, not overthink things so much, and be prepared.
What about people who are thinking about self-harm or who are doing self-harm or feeling suicidal?
To those people, I'm there. I've been there. It was throughout about 5, 6 years that I was there. I would want to say that you're not alone, and no matter how many times that people tell you that it's going to be okay, and then you get that hope, and then it never ends up being okay, then that does a lot to yourself. And I've been told so many things that I can't even think of, but for those people, it's just, I'm there. I've been there.
If you could go back in time, what would you change?
If I can go back in time, I would change my outlook on certain things. When I could have gotten help earlier or reached out earlier, but I didn't. I always put it off, and I thought that it made me weak to reach out. It made me, what are people are gonna think of me, or just overthinking that. And that's the one thing I would change, is getting help earlier.
Mm-hmm. Would you change anything about your music and your writing?
Now I wouldn't, because I feel after going through all that, like, there's a lot that I have to say or need to say and want to say. So I wouldn't change anything about my writing and music currently now.
What is something that you want to improve on?
There's always new things I want to improve on every day, like writing, let's say, a happier song or a different type of song that doesn't involve that. But it's hard to gravitate towards different things.
Well, what about mentors and people you look up to?
People I look up to, NF for sure, Whit Lowry, AK, Rob Nash, Johnny Holiday, that entire project. Yeah, those people.
Now, you've met Rob Nash.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that was like? And when did you first meet him?
When I first met him, it was 8th grade. We were sitting on our gym floor watching his project, and at first I didn't know what it was going to be like, and how I met him was recently more so connecting back to him. In the beginning, it was just like, oh yeah, this will never be me. I'll never be that person who go through things like that, until it became me, and I kind of lost myself for a little bit, and yeah, that's how I met him.
So do each of your songs that you were released have a specific message behind them?
Yes, they would have specifically different but similar messages. Like from Losing Hope to Not Just Music, those two songs are completely different feels, but similar in a way, because in Not Just Music, I mentioned that it's my type of therapy. So, but in Losing Hope, I'm reaching out, or even in Tell Me in the chorus, it's tell me it's okay, tell me it's all right. So with Not Just Music, it feels like it's my therapy.
So how would you say music has affected you?
Music has affected me in a way that I can't describe. It's a feeling that emotional connection to a certain song where it brings you back to that specific memory, or even writing down certain things and looking back on it 6 months later, and then you start to think about, oh, how was life like when I wrote this, or how have I progressed, or how have things changed? And yeah, I found that in music, and it's bringing me back to a lot of memories.
Great. So, Son, tell us what artists you're listening to right now.
The same four that I'm inspired by. So NF, Whit Lowry, AK, and Rob Nash.
You've released some great projects, an EP, music video. You've got merchandise out there. It's enough to be nervous about, a little bit anxious.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the future projects that we have coming and we can look forward to.
Future projects. I'm planning something currently. I can't say much about it. There's quite a bit in there. There's new merchandise. There's new songs, new different types of writing, different types of beats. So.
And that's great. And if people want to connect with you, how can they do that?
Mainly throughout my Instagram, SonTranMusic. I'm on YouTube, SoundCloud, or in my email. It's somewhere in my videos. So.
Well, Son, thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing so much of yourself with us. That wraps it up for us. Any last words for people who are watching?
For whoever's watching, yeah, I would say thank you to all the support and all the love that you guys have shown me, and pretty much without you guys, I wouldn't be here. So, thank you.
Thank you. And there you have it, folks. SonTran from Calgary, Alberta.
Thanks for having me.
Is everything to me, all that I have and all that I got, all that I need and all that I do. To me, there's not just music. Take my story, I'ma use it. There's not just music to me. You should quit. No, this is therapy to me. It's what I need, it's what I bleed. This is not just music. It's not just music. Friends giving me food when the fridge was empty at my house, wondering where the next meal would come from.